Greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen and friends. This is Stan for Interesting Ideas, and this is for a Friday flowing into the weekend. And we're talking a little bit this week about stopping things. And so I encourage you to go back to my Sunday, Monday program and my Wednesday program. And here we are on Friday. Friday's a future day. That's where we think about some of the things that we want to do in the future and what it means to be a leader. Maybe even an idea leader in our world today. And hopefully it's sometimes even practical and thoughtful, maybe also interesting and amusing. Well, the world is full of stuff again, and Donald Trump, yeah, he didn't go to the debate, and yesterday he went through the ordeal of being indicted for the fourth time. I did watch the program that he did counter to the debate, and the man was quite calm, and he didn't seem very much afraid of any of the things that were happening to him. But what should we stop? Well, I guess some of the debate was about stopping things, but here's a thought, and of course it dates me. We had the song from the Supremes, hey, love, here's an old song by Sam Cooke, and you may remember the words if you're that old. Don't know much about history, don't know much about biology, don't know much about a science book, and don't know much about the French I took. But I do know that I love you, and I know that if you would love me too, what a wonderful thing this world would be. Yeah, what a wonderful world this would be. And that's what's important. Well, there are a lot of people who are going to college. Young people, people returning to educate themselves for a better position or a better position in life or a better career. But a lot of people are deciding not to go to college. And that's because we are discovering that maybe we need new ways of learning. And so today I'm going to think about perhaps maybe we should stop going to college. Maybe we should take the year off. Maybe we should send our children to some other place. But maybe we should stop supporting the higher education complex industry. Well, let's see if we can talk about that. The program is Interesting Ideas and some thoughts for a Friday. They begin right now. I'm just going to respond once again with attribution. By the way, I would encourage you to just do your search. Is college a scam? Something like that. Or why are people not going to college? And there are a whole list of things that will come up. Everything from Business Insider to National Public Radio, featuring stories of people who are saying that higher education is in somewhat of a financial and registration crisis because a lot of people are just deciding that college is not for them or college is not for their children. Well, just to make a point of view that we can respond to, I always admired him as a kind of a curmudgeon and as a pretty good broadcaster. And I admired those skills. And his name is John Stossel. And he wrote in the New York Post recently this story. And I'll just kind of, tell you all about it. He says, it's August. Many young people head off to college. This year, fortunately, fewer will go. I say fortunately because college is now an overpriced scam. Overpriced because normal incentives to be frugal and make smart decisions and smart judgments about who should go to college were thrown out when the federal government took over granting student loans. Well, why is that? Because our government basically vomits money at everyone who applies. If private lenders gave out the loans, which they used to do, they'd look at whether they were likely to be paid back. They'd ask questions like, what will you study? You really think majoring in dance will lead to a job that will pay you enough to allow you to pay us back? Well, government rarely, perhaps never, asks these questions. Bureaucrats throw money at students, and many don't benefit. Many shouldn't even be going to college. Now, Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program was shot down by the Supreme Court, and we know about that. Nearly half of the students given loans don't graduate after 6 years. Let's repeat that. Today, nearly half the students given loans don't graduate even after 6 years, and many feel like failures. College is good for people who want to be college professors or who major in fields like engineering and computer science that might lead to good jobs. But that's not most people. Government loans encourage everyone to go to college, even if they're really not interested in academics. Student loan debt is higher than ever, but colleges are on a spending spree. Government handouts also invite colleges to keep raising tuition. Over the past 50 years, college costs rose at 4 times the rate of inflation. That's 4 times. Years ago, I reported how colleges were suddenly wasting money on luxuries like fancy gyms and even day spas. Last week, the Wall Street Journal reported it's gotten worse. The University of Oklahoma bought a monastery in Italy for study abroad students. The University of Kentucky built a theater where studios can play video games. Why not raise tuition? Asked the typical college president. Uncle Sam pays the bill. And then John Stossel says, when I went to Princeton, tuition was $2,000. Now it's $60,000. And colleges have little incentive to cut costs or innovate. Princeton still teaches by having professors lecture. Super boring. I slept through many. The cost of college has risen to an all-time high. Although today I guess I should thank Princeton because its tedious lectures inspired me to try to find better ways to present information, and that made me successful on TV. Student loan borrowers owe tens of thousands of dollars. Last year, the president announced he would cancel up to $20,000 of that debt per person. Well, indebted students love that. A group named the Student Debt Crisis Center called it a major win for many. But it would be a major loss for many more. Canceling debt is unfair to the people who work hard and pay their debts. Fortunately, Joe Biden's plan was struck down by the Supreme Court, which said only Congress has the right to cancel student debt. Well, Congress didn't. Well, the president is trying again. The administration announced it will forgive debt for anyone who's been making payments for more than 20 years. That's better, but it's still bad. Well, maybe the courts will stop this handout too. College students take on loans and spend decades in debt because they believe they must get a degree to be hired. That's a problem. But that's no longer true. IBM, Accenture, Dell, Bank of America, Google, and other big companies are recognizing the uselessness of many undergraduate degrees. Recently dropped college degree requirements. So have state governments in Maryland, Utah, Colorado, Pennsylvania, Alaska, North Carolina, New Jersey, and Virginia. You don't need necessarily a college degree. Good jobs in the trades, like welding, plumbing, air conditioning, carpentry, auto mechanics. There are hundreds of jobs, and good paying jobs, worthwhile jobs, that don't need any college training at all. And in fact, the college training they get either from their employer or from a business or technical school is usually far cheaper. And to have a good life or get a good job, you don't need fancy dining halls, video game auditoriums, or a college degree. College has become a government-subsidized ripoff. It's good that fewer people go. And that reflects some of my point of view, but I just quoted John Stossel. He'll take full responsibility for that. And I'd like to know perhaps what you think about that. Yes, StanHouston@gmail.com, StanHouston@gmail.com. And let's go back, and I'll just make a few comments or reflections on that. I'm Stan Houston. The program is Interesting Ideas, and maybe something that will help you in your parenting or thinking, or perhaps going back to college will be helpful and useful. We'll be back.
What's up, Doc?
Well, obviously, I remember college from many, many years ago, and when I graduated, I had a problem. The college informed me, and I think the tuition plus board plus room was about $1,600, and the college informed me that I would not get my diploma unless I paid off my student bill. And I knew I was a little bit behind, and so I went and found out, and I was told I needed $400. And if I didn't pay that $400, that they would withhold my degree. Well, thank goodness for a good roommate friend, and a wonderful friend he was, in the sense he wasn't always the best of friends, but we got along wonderfully, still do. But he had a world-class father who was in the banking business, and he recommended, and this man was the ultimate Christian gentleman, and he made a point of helping college students. And so I visited with him and told him what I was going to do, and told him a little about my plan to get married and the work I wanted to do. And then he asked me how much it would be, and he agreed that perhaps he would loan me $400. And he wanted me to pay it back within the year. That would be a little about $35, $40 a month. And since I had the promise of a job, I could probably do that. Whole different world today. However, I still wonder, with all of the high cost and all of the politicization and indoctrination, and obviously some of the useless classes and courses, not necessarily for learning, but for actually making a contribution, doing those things that will help you and help others to have a better world, a better life, a better economic opportunity. If you just want to learn good stuff, in today's video world, you don't have to go to college. You can learn just about anything you want to learn or study from an online education. So I even wonder if my children today, who both went, and my wife and I struggled to help them, and they received a college degree, and then it still took a student loan, and we struggled, and we told them that we would pay off their student loan, and it took us a while, but we did that. I wonder if today that would be something I would tell my daughters? Could there be other things that they need to think about and do that might be just as helpful, maybe even more useful than that proverbial college degree? Which the ones they had some, but I think in some cases limited value. What really happened that was good for them was, just like Donald Trump used to say, you need to find a person to apprentice yourself to. Find someone you can work for, not just an intern in college, but see if you can't find a apprenticeship in which you actually are paid a modest sum to really learn a specific business skill or opportunity. All I'm saying is I think it is time to fully stop. That's right. Stop accepting the past proverbial wisdom about college and university and an education and what it should be like going forward. That's just my thought for today. I would love to hear from you. I'm past that stage, not going to college. I was asked to join a PhD degree after going through graduate school, and I was ready to do that, and then I finally looked at it and said, why do I want to do that? Or as one of my young friends said one time when his father asked him what college he was going to go to, he looked him up in the eye and said to him, he said, Dad, I didn't like school. I don't like school. I don't want to do any more school. I'm going to do something else. And he went out and did something else, and now he's a entrepreneur who owns several restaurants and is making a very good and wonderful living doing exactly what he loves to do, play music, and do good food. Good for him. And of course, he's making more money than his college siblings who did just that. Those are things we need to be prepared to do. Stop traditional thinking and perhaps think of new ways. I'm Stan Houston. These are interesting ideas. Thank you for listening. We'll be right back.
Ooh, 'tis a gift to be simple. 'Tis a gift to be free.
Okay, it is time to, as we approach September, as I said, what are you going to stop doing and what are you going to start doing? We are in difficult times, challenging times, times that are going to require good thinking, and it's going to require courage and meeting some significant challenges. And how are we helping to prepare ourselves and our children and the people we love to live in this rather challenging and difficult world today? It's something to think about. It's something to pray about. Remember, without prayer, nothing works. And it's something to occasionally have a conversation about, a conversation that counts. Find yourself a coach, a mentor, and a sponsor. 3 words. Coach, mentor, and sponsor. Particularly if you're young, do that. If you have young people who you love and are trying to help, encourage them. Coach, mentor, sponsor. And if you want to know more about that, why don't you ask me and I will help you with that conversation. StanHouston@gmail.com, StanHouston@gmail.com. And again, it's time to speak up and speak out. So let's get you on the radio so you can share your truth, your wisdom, your insight, your significant story. Maybe about college. Maybe about not going to college. Maybe about how you really learned things. I'd love to hear your story. StanHouston@gmail.com, StanHouston@gmail.com. Thank you for your 20 minutes this Friday. May you have a wonderful weekend. Rest, recreation, reflection, worship, and be ready to live a better life come Monday. Bye for now.